Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ju ki jai. One second, I'm just writing in the WhatsApp group. I am just, whoops, I just went live. Okay, sorry. Nitil Vishnu Vishnupar Ashtatarashatashmar Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Vishnupar Ashtatarashatashmar Srila Bhakti Vedanta Vamana Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Vishnupar Ashtatarashatashmar Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Vishnupar Ashtatarashatashmar Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Vishnupar Ashtatarashatashmar Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Maha-bhagavat Srila Goraksharas Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. Nitil Vishnu Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Patadash Raghunath Shar Goswami Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Rishi Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Naam Acharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaur Mandala Brajamandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Abhishta Bharati Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kund Shama Kund ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Shri Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Kartik Vrat ki jai. Damodar Vrat ki jai. Urja Vrat ki jai. Urjeshwari Shrimati Radharani ki jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shnitai Gaur Bhakta Hari Hari Bo. So it's difficult because I'm doing a kirtan program before this reading, and I started at 6 o'clock in the morning, but when I finished 15 minutes too late when I start at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I think I might have to start at 5:45 in the morning, but I'm not so then I can start Srimad Bhagavatam at 7, because it would be good to finish at 8. Or I could do 45 minutes of reading every day instead of an hour. Anyhow, well, that might be a good idea. We just do 45 minutes. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Let me know what you guys would like also. And for some reason with this program, it's not letting me see the comments. Oh wait, no, it is. Now it is. Oh, finally. Okay. Sorry, indeed. So actually, I'm only gonna do half an hour reading today. Okay, and then I'll be finished by 8 o'clock. Yeah, I have a lot of things I need to do today also, so it's good for me to do a short reading. Okay, so I'm doing the Mangalacarana. 1 second, just opening it up on the screen. Om Jnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayanati Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Kṛṣṇa Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyaeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Kṛṣṇa Prema Pradayate Kṛṣṇaya Kṛṣṇa Chaitanya Namne Gauratishe Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Kṛṣṇaya Kṛṣṇa Bhaktaya Tarabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Yam Pravajantam Anupetam Apeta Krityam Dvaipayano Virahakatara Ajuhavo Putreti tanmayataya taravo bhinedu stang sarvabhuta hridaya munimanatosmi. Narayanam namaskritya narang chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet. Shrinvatang sakada Krishna punya shravana kirtana vedantasto yabhadrani vidunoti suritsatam. Nashta prayesh babadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavatyuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtaki. Tavaevasmi na jivami tvaya vina iti vigyaya radhe tvam nayamam charanantikam. Bhaktya vihina aparada lakshay kshiptashtakama ditaranga madhe kripa mai tvam sharanam prapanna vrinde namaste charana ravindam. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Okay. So we are continuing from 1 second. All right. So just a small little recap of what we read yesterday. I'm just reading the translations. 1 second. Shoot. Okay. Lord Brahma said, when the unlimitedly powerful Lord assumed the form of a boar as a pastime, just to lift the planet Earth, which was drowned in the great ocean of the universe called the Garbhodak, the first demon, Hiranyaksha, appeared, and the Lord pierced him with his tusks. The Prajapati first begot Suyagya in the womb of his wife Akuti, and then Suyagya begot demigods headed by Suyama in the womb of his wife Dakshina. Suyagya as the Indradev diminished very great miseries in the three planetary systems, upper, lower, and intermediate. And because he so diminished the miseries of the universe, he was later called Hari by the great father of mankind, namely Swayambhuva Manu. The Lord then appeared as the Kapila incarnation, being the son of the Prajapati Brahman Kardama and his wife Devahuti, along with 9 other women, sisters. He spoke to his mother about self-realization, by which in that very lifetime she became fully cleansed of the mud of the material modes and thereby achieved liberation, the path of Kapila. The great sage Atri prayed for offspring, and the Lord, being satisfied with him, promised to incarnate as Atri's son, Dattatreya. Datta, the son of Atri. Atreya means the son of Atri. So, Dattatreya. And by the grace of the lotus feet of the Lord, many Yadus, Haihayas, etc., became so purified that they obtained both material and spiritual blessings. To create different planetary systems, I had to undergo austerities and penance, and the Lord, thus being pleased with me, incarnated in four sanas: Sanak, Sanat Kumar, Sanandana, and Sanatan. In the previous creation, the spiritual truth was devastated, but the 4 sanas explained it so nicely that the truth at once became clearly perceived by the sages. To exhibit his personal way of austerity and penance, he appeared in twin forms as Narayan and Nara in the womb of Murti, the wife of Dharma and the daughter of Daksha. Celestial beauties, the companions of Cupid, went to try to break his vows, but they were unsuccessful, for they saw that many beauties like them were emanating from him, the personality of Godhead. Great stalwarts like Lord Shiva can, by their wrathful glances, overcome lust and vanquish him. Yet they cannot be free from the overwhelming effects of their own wrath. Such wrath can never enter into the heart of him, the Lord, who is above all this. So how can lust take shelter in his mind? Being insulted by sharp words spoken by the co-wife of the king, even in we're reading from this point on. So let me read the Sanskrit. Vidasapatnudita patribhirantiragyo palo pisan upagatas tapasevanani tasma adadruvagatem grinate prasanno devyastuvanti munayo yadap uparyadastat. Being insulted by sharp words spoken by the co-wife of the king, even in his presence, Prince Dhruva, though only a boy, took to severe penances in the forest. And the Lord, being satisfied by his prayer, awarded him the Dhruva planet, which is worshipped by great sages, both upward and downward. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. When he was only 5 years old, Prince Dhruva, a great devotee and the son of Maharaj Uttanapad, was sitting on the lap of his father. His stepmother did not like the king's patting her stepson, so she dragged him out, saying that he could not claim to sit on the lap of the king because he was not born of her womb. Jeez. The little boy felt insulted by this act of his stepmother. Nor did his father make any protest, for he was too attached to his second wife. After this incident, Prince Dhruva went to his own mother and complained. His real mother also could not take any step against this insulting behavior, and so she wept. What a sad story. The boy inquired from his mother how he could sit on the royal throne of his father, and the poor queen replied that only the Lord could help him. The boy inquired where the Lord could be seen, and the queen replied that it is said that the Lord is sometimes seen by great sages in the dense forest. The child prince decided to go into the forest to perform severe penances in order to achieve his objective. Prince Dhruva performed a stringent type of penance under the instruction of his spiritual master, Sri Narad Muni, who was specifically deputed for this purpose by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Prince Dhruva was initiated by Narad into chanting the hymn composed of 18 letters, namely Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And Lord Vasudeva incarnated himself as Kṛṣṇa, the personality of Godhead with 4 hands, and awarded the prince a specific planet above the 7 stars. Prince Dhruva, after achieving success in his undertakings, saw the Lord face to face, and he was satisfied that all his needs were fulfilled. The planet awarded to Prince Dhruva Maharaj is a fixed Vaikuntha planet, installed in the material atmosphere by the will of the Supreme Lord Vasudeva. This planet, although within the material world, will not be annihilated at the time of devastation, but will remain fixed in its place. And because it is a Vaikuntha planet, never to be annihilated, it is worshipped even by the denizens of the 7 stars situated before the Dhruva planet, as well as the planets which are even above the Dhruva planet. Maharshi Bhrigu's planet is situated above the Dhruva planet. So the Lord incarnated himself as Kṛṣṇa just to satisfy a pure devotee of the Lord. And Prince Dhruva achieved this perfection simply by chanting the hymn mentioned above, after being initiated by another pure devotee, Narad. A serious personality can thus achieve the highest perfection of meeting the Lord and attain his objective simply by being guided by a pure devotee, who automatically approaches who automatically approaches by dint of one's serious determination to meet the Lord by all means.
Just a moment.
Siri thought I was talking to her. It's so strange. Okay. The description of Prince Dhruva's activities can be read in detail in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Just checking the comments to see. Okay, Indira. I got that. Yadvenam utpatagatam dijavakya vajra nishplushta porusha bhagam niraye patantam tratvartito jagati putra padam chaleve dugda vasuni vasuda sakalani ena. Maharaj Vena went astray from the path of righteousness, and the Brahmins chastised him by the thunderbolt curse. By this, King Vena was burnt with his good deeds and opulence, and was en route to hell. The Lord, by his causeless mercy, descended as a son by the name of Prithu, delivered the condemned King Vena from hell, and exploited the earth by drawing all kinds of crops as produce. Exploited? That's a heavy word. Dugda. I wonder if it's different. Anyways, doesn't matter. According to the system of Varnashram Dharma, the pious and learned Brahmins were the natural guardians of society. The Brahmins, by their learned labor of love, would instruct the administrator kings how to rule the country in complete righteousness, and thus the process would go on as a perfect welfare state. The kings, or the Kshatriya administrators, would always consult the counsel of the learned Brahmins. They were never autocratic monarchs. The scriptures, like Manu Samhita and other authorized books of the great sages, were guiding principles for ruling the subjects, and there was no need for less intelligent persons to manufacture a code of law in the name of democracy. The less intelligent mass of people have very little knowledge of their own welfare, as a child has very little knowledge of its future well-being. The experienced father guides the innocent child towards the path of progress, and the childlike mass of people needs similar guidance. The standard welfare codes are already there in the Manu Samhita and other Vedic literatures. The learned Brahmins would advise the king in terms of those standard books of knowledge, and with reference to the particular situation of time and place. Such Brahmins were not paid servants of the king, and therefore they had the strength to dictate to the king on the principles of scriptures. They had no self-interest in it. This system continued even up to the time of Maharaj Chandragupta, and the Brahmin Chanakya was his unpaid prime minister. Maharaj Vena did not adhere to this principle of ruling, and he disobeyed the learned Brahmins. The broad-minded Brahmins were not self-interested, but looked to the interest of complete welfare for all the subjects. They wanted to chastise King Vena for his misconduct, and so prayed to the Almighty Lord as well as cursed the king. Long life, obedience, good reputation, righteousness, prospects of being promoted to higher planets, and blessings of great personalities are all vanquished simply by disobedience to a great soul. One should strictly try to follow in the footsteps of great souls. Maharaj Vena became a king, undoubtedly due to his past deeds of righteousness, but because he willfully neglected the great souls, he was punished by the loss of all the above-mentioned acquisitions. In the Vaman Puran, the history of Maharaj Vena and his degradation are fully described. When Maharaj Prithu heard about the hellish condition of his father, Vena, who was suffering from leprosy in the family of Malecha, he at once brought the former king to Kurukshetra for his purification and relieved him of all sufferings. Maharaj Prithu, the incarnation of God, descended by the prayer of the Brahmins to rectify the disorders on earth. He produced all kinds of crops, but at the same time, he performed the duty of a son who delivers his father from hellish conditions. The word putra means one who delivers from hell, called put. That is a worthy son. Nabherasa vrishaba asa sudevi sunur yo vaichachara samadrik jara yoga charyam yat parama hangsyam vrishya paramatmananti amananti swasta prashanta karana parimukta sangha. The Lord appeared as a son of Sudevi, the wife of King Nabhi, and was known as Rishabdev. He performed materialistic yoga to equibalance the mind. This stage is also accepted as the highest perfectional situation of liberation, wherein one is situated in oneself and is completely satisfied. Purport. Out of many types of mystic performances for self-realization, the process of Jara Yoga is also one accepted by authorities. This Jara Yoga involves practicing becoming like a dumb stone and not being affected by material reactions. Just as a stone is indifferent to all kinds of attacks and reattacks of the external situations, similarly, one practices Jara Yoga by tolerating voluntarily affliction of pain upon the material body. Such yogis, out of many self-infliction methods, practice plucking out the hairs on their heads without shaving and without any instrumental help. Whoa! But the real purpose of such Jata Yoga practice is to get free from all material affection and to be completely situated in the self. I can't even pull out one hair. Oh, actually, I can easily. No, but that would be so difficult to pull out every single hair on your head by your hand. Okay. But the real purpose of such Jata Yoga practice is to get free from all material affection and to be completely situated in the self. At the last stage of his life, Emperor Rishabdev wandered like a dumb madman, unaffected by all kinds of bodily mistreatment. Seeing him like a madman, wandering naked with long hair and a long beard, less intelligent children and men in the street used to spit on him and urinate on his body. My God. He used to lie in his own stool and never move. But the stool of his body was fragrant, like the smell of fragrant flowers, and a saintly person would recognize him as a Paramahamsa, one in the highest state of human perfection. One who is not able to make his stool fragrant should not, however, imitate Emperor Rishabdev. Oh, God. The practice... Actually, never mind, so I'm not going to go there. The practice of Jata Yoga was possible for Rishabdev The practice of Jata Yoga was possible for Rishabdev and others on the same level of perfection, but such an uncommon practice is impossible for an ordinary man. The real purpose of Jata Yoga, as mentioned here in this verse, is prashanta karana, or subduing the senses. The whole process of yoga, under whatever heading it may be, is to control the unbridled material senses and thus prepare oneself for self-realization. In this age specifically, this Jata Yoga cannot be of any practical value, but on the other hand, the practice of Bhakti Yoga is feasible because it is just suitable for this age. The simple method of hearing from the right source, Srimad Bhagavatam, will lead one to the highest perfectional stage of yoga. Rishabdev was the son of King Nabhi and the grandson of King Agnitra, and he was the father of King Bharat, after whose name this planet Earth was called Bharatvarsh. Rishabdev's mother was also known as Meru Devi, although her name is mentioned here as Sudevi. It is sometimes proposed that Sudevi was another wife of King Nabhi, but since King Rishabdev is mentioned elsewhere as the son of Meru Devi, it is clear that Meru Devi and Sudevi are the same person under different names. My father's name is Rishabdev. Satre mamasa bhagavan hayashira shato shakshat sayagya purusha stapaniya varna chandomayo makamayo kila devatatma vacho babhuvur ushati shvasato nasta. The Lord appeared as the Hayagriva incarnation and a sacrifice performed by me, Brahma. He is the personified sacrifices, and the hue of his body is golden. He is the personified Vedas as well, and the super soul of all demigods. When he breathed, all the sweet sounds of the Vedic hymns came out of his nostrils. Purport. The Vedic hymns are generally meant for sacrifices performed by fruitive workers who also want to satisfy the demigods to achieve their fruitive result. But the Lord is the personified sacrifices and personified Vedic hymns. Therefore, one who is directly a devotee of the Lord is a person who has automatically both served the purposes of sacrifices and pleased the demigods. The devotees of the Lord may not perform any sacrifice or may not please the demigods as per Vedic injunctions. And still, the devotees are on a higher level than the fruitive workers or the worshippers of different demigods. Matsyo Yuganta Samaye Manuno Palabda Kṣṇi Mayo Kila Jiva Nikaya Kṣṇi Mayo Nikila Jiva Nikaya Keta Visrangsitam Urubhaye Salile Mokhane Adaya Tatra Vijahara Havera Margan. At the end of the millennium, the would-be Vaivasvatamanu of the name Satyavrata would see that the Lord in the fish incarnation is the shelter of all kinds of living entities, up to those in the earthly planets. Because of my fear of the vast water at the end of the millennium, the Vedas came out of my, Brahma's, mouth, and the Lord enjoys those vast waters and protects the Vedas. Purport. During one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus. And let me just read that one. Because of my fear of the vast water at the end of the millennium, the Vedas came out of my mouth, and the Lord enjoys those vast waters and protects the Vedas. Okay. During one day of Brahma, there are 14 Manus. And at the end of each Manu, there is a devastation up to the earthly planets. And the vast water is fearful even to Brahma. Wow, if it's even fearful to Brahma. That's really intense. So in the beginning of the would-be Vaivasvatamanu, such devastation would be seen by him. There would be many other incidences also, such as the killing of the famous Shankasura. This foretelling is by the past experience of Brahmaji, who knew that in that fearful, devastating scene, the Vedas would come out of his mouth. But the Lord in his fish incarnation not only would save all living entities, namely the demigods, animals, men, and great sages, but would also save the Vedas. Okay, I'm going to read for another 6 minutes, and then we'll finish for today. Today is a short day. Shiro dadava maradanava yuttapanam unmatnatam amrita labdhaya adi deva Prishtena Kacchapava Purvidadhara Gotram Nidrakshano Driparivartaksha Kashana Kandu. The primeval Lord then assumed the tortoise incarnation in order to serve as a resting place, pivot, for the Mandara mountain, which was acting as a turning rod. The demigods and the demons were churning the ocean of milk with the Mandara mountain in order to extract nectar. The mountain moved back and forth, scratching the back of Lord Tortoise. I love that. Lord Tortoise, big T, who, while partially sleeping, was experiencing an itching sensation. Purport. Although it is not in our experience, there is a milk ocean within this universe. Even the modern scientist accepts that there are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of planets hovering over our heads, and each of them has different kinds of climatic conditions. Srimad Bhagavatam gives much information which may not tally with our present experience. But as far as Indian sages are concerned, knowledge is received from the Vedic literatures, and the authorities accept without any hesitation that we should look through the pages of authentic books of knowledge, Shastra Chakshurvat. So we cannot deny the existence of the ocean of milk, as stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, unless and until we have experimentally seen all the planets hovering in space. Since such an experiment is not possible, naturally we have to accept the statement of Srimad Bhagavatam as it is, because it is so accepted by spiritual leaders like Sridhar Swami, Jiva Goswami, Vishwanath Chakravarti, and others. The Vedic process is to follow in the footsteps of great authorities, and that is the only process for knowing that which is beyond our imagination. The primeval Lord, being all-powerful, can do whatever he likes, and therefore his assuming the incarnation of a tortoise or a fish for serving a particular purpose is not at all astonishing. Therefore, we should not have any hesitation whatsoever in accepting the statements of the authentic scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam. The gigantic work of churning the milk ocean by the combined effort of the demigods and the demons required a gigantic resting ground, or a pivot, for the gigantic Mandara hill. Thus, to help the attempt of the demigods, the primeval Lord assumed the incarnation of a gigantic tortoise swimming in the ocean of milk. At the same time, the mountains scratched his backbone as he was partially sleeping, and thus relieved his itching sensation. Okay, I think I'm going to end with this verse here. Traipishtaporubhayaha sanrishinharupam kritva brahmar brukuti dangshtakaralavaktram daitendramashu gadayabhipatantamarad uro nipatya vidadhara Nakaispurāntam. The personality of Godhead assumed the incarnation of Nrsimhadev in order to vanquish the great fears of the demigods. He killed the king of the demons, Hiranyakashipu, who challenged the Lord with a club in his hand, by placing the demon on his thighs and piercing him with his nails, rolling his eyebrows in anger and showing his fearful teeth and mouth. Is it rolling his eyebrows? Oh, rolling his eyebrows. How do you roll your eyebrows? Okay. Purport. The history of Hiranyakashipu and his great devotee son Prahlad Maharaj is narrated in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hiranyakashipu became very powerful by material achievements and thought himself to be immortal by the grace of Brahmaji. Brahmaji declined to award him the benediction of immortality because he himself is not an immortal being. But Hiranyakashipu derived Brahmaji's benediction in a roundabout way, almost equal to becoming an immortal being. Hiranyakashipu was sure that he would not be killed by any man or demigod or by any kind of known weapon, nor would he die in day or night. The Lord, however, assumed the incarnation of half man and half lion, which was beyond the imagination of a materialistic demon like Hiranyakashipu, and thus, keeping pace with the benediction of Brahmaji, the Lord killed him. He killed him on his lap, so that he was killed neither on the land, nor on the water, nor in the sky. The demon was pierced by Nrsimha's nails, which were beyond the human weapons imaginable by Hiranyakashipu. The literal meaning of Hiranyakashipu is one who is after gold and soft bedding, the ultimate aim of all materialistic men. Such demoniac men who have no relationship with God gradually become puffed up by material acquisitions and begin to challenge the authority of the Supreme Lord and torture those who are devotees of the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj happened to be the son of Hiranyakashipu, and because the boy was a great devotee, his father tortured him to the best of his ability. In this extreme situation, the Lord assumed the incarnation of Nrsimhadev, and just to finish the enemy of the demigods, the Lord killed Hiranyakashipu in a manner beyond the demon's imagination. Materialistic plans of godless demons are always frustrated by the all-powerful Lord. Okay, I'm ending here. We're ending at verse 15. So today is just a short reading, but tomorrow I'll try to, I think during Kartik time, we're going to read, instead of an hour, we're going to read 45 minutes because I'm reading other things. I'm going to be reading Damodarastakam, and I'm not reading Damodarastakam today though, because I Every Sunday, I can't read Damodarastakam. Okay. Jai Shri Guru Gandharva Giridhari Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki Jai Nityalapa Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shrimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev ki Jai Nityalapa Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shrimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Nityalapa Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shrimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Nityalapa Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shrimad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki Jai Nityalapa Vishnu Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shrimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki Jai Nityalapa Vishnu Maha-bhagavat Srila Goksharas Babaji Maharaj ki Jai Nityalapa Vishnu Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki Jai Nityalapa Vishnu Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj ki Jai Shri Rupa Nagokariya Guru Varga ki Jai Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Patadasha Gunath Shara Gosai Prabhu ki Jai Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki Jai Nama Chai Shri Hairas Thakur ki Jai Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaur Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki Jai Sarva Abhishya Bharata Giriraj Maharaj ki Jai Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund ki Jai Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki Jai Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki Jai Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Shri Kartik Vrat Urja Vrat Damodar Vrat Niyam Seva ki Jai Shri Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai Samagata Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Shri Nitai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo Vrindai Tulsidevai Priyai Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavatai Namo Namaha. Oh, I knew I was forgetting something. I usually do kirtan at the end. Okay, I'm just going to do a couple Maha-mantras. 1 second. I felt weird doing Jayadvani, and that's because I forgot to end with Maha-mantra. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hare Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Hare Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hare Bol. Jai Shri Guru Gandharva Giridhari Shri Oh, whoops. I'm not going to do the whole Jaidwani again, just did it. So, Jai Shri Gurudev ki Jai, Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Shri Guru-parampara ki Jai, Jai Shri Satchidananda Gaur Hari ki Jai, Shri Radha Damodar Ju ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai, Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. So tomorrow at, I think 9 o'clock is a good time, right? Would 9 o'clock be a good time? I'm going to read Damodarastakam, the first chapter. It's one of my favorite books. It's one of the most juicy books ever. It's so good. Yeah. Okay. Jai Shri Radhe. Hari Bol.